adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Okay, good morning councillors, good morning officers. Firstly, I'd like to open the meeting and pay acknowledgement to country. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land in which we meet today, the Darumba people, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to our neighbouring Aboriginal peoples within our local government area, the Gungaloo Nations people, the Barada, Capybara and Yetamarala people. I also acknowledge that the Torres Strait Islander people whose land is in the Torres Straits but who live and work on Aboriginal land. Moving on to apologies and leave of absence. Councillors, we have a leave of absence granted previously for Councillor Fisher. Could I seek a... I'll just move on to the confirmation of the previous minutes. The recommendation minutes from the ordinary meeting on the 10th of August be confirmed. Could I seek a mover and a seconder? Move Councillor Smith, seconded Councillor Wickerson. I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Item 5, declarations and interests in matters on the agenda. I look straight to you, councillor. No, but councillors, if there are items there that arise throughout the agenda, then by all means raise them. And if somebody is aware of a conflict of a fellow councillor, then by all means raise that at the time. Thank you. So we'll move on to public deputations. We have a deputations this morning from Charlie, who's going to make a deputation on the straw ambassador. So we look forward to that, and we'd like to invite Charlie in. Thank you, councillors. Okay, if we could all just sit down. Thank you.
This video might upset you because of what is happening. I have a video that I would like to show.
I'm coming. You can go for it, Mr. Surgeon. She's going to be so happy.
Bless you.
Have you ever heard about Jews?
What is this?
What is it?
Green. I don't want to put it too much.
Yeah, could you, one of the swabs, the sterile swabs, could you like put them into the iodine and then we're just gonna try to clean it?
Sí, yo ahorita lo mordí, ahorita es plástico.
He bit on. Oh, ese es un poco ahora. Oh man! Show me please. I want to. Oh my god, it's just freaking.
Queensland Government bans single-use plastics come September 2021. Anastasia Palaszczuk's government has from September 2021 banned single-use plastic straws and plastics in Queensland. Hi, my name is Charlie and I am part of Straw No More. I am the youngest straw ambassador in Australia. I have been part of Straw No More since I was 6. I am now 9 years old. I did this because of my pet turtle, Franklin. Turtles are in danger with plastic straws and single-use plastics. Why? Because plastic straws and plastics can get stuck in their nose or in their stomach. I have 2 questions. My first question is, as Queensland moves to ban single-use plastics and plastic straws by September, what is Rockhampton Regional Council doing to assist businesses in making sure they are on board by September and comply? And what is Council's policy moving forward if businesses have not complied? My second question is, has Council thought of a system for helping clean up our waterways? We walk our dogs on lead and take our own bags to collect rubbish and take it back home to our own rubbish bins. Has council thought of a similar system to the doggy poo bag dispenser for people to be able to collect rubbish as they walk? Maybe this could be as simple like take a bucket with you on your walk and then have rubbish bins available as they return the bucket to empty their collected waste into. May I ask one thing of you all, please? Think before you drop. This means a lot to me and my pet turtle, Franklin. I would like to present each councillor with a few staff with a small reminder of my why.
Councillor Drew. Councillor Grant. Councillor Shane. Mayor Tony. Councillor Sherry. Councillor Ellen. You probably just take it over too. Just right behind you. For Linda. Councillor Donna. Karen. Alicia. Peter Coker. And that one's for Trudy. And apologies to Evan. I thought we'd pick them all up.
I have to say my wife actually purchased some stainless steel straws yesterday with the brush, so very good.
Charlie, I'd like to ask councillors to give a round of applause for that deputation. So fantastic and well done.
Thank you for your time.
You're a very confident young lady, and again, thank you. And Franklin playing his part, I see as well. So I'll just ask for some questions and answers off the floor. So, Councillor Kirkland, as the portfolio for sustainability, could you?
Thank you so much, Charlie, for coming out today. My name's Councillor Donna Kirkland, and one of my roles in council is with the portfolio of environment and water. So this is a subject and a topic that we discuss quite broadly across my portfolio. So I have a couple of questions for you. Is that okay? Yeah? I'd like to know what made you decide to be a straw ambassador.
Well, when I was young, my mum asked me, and I was sitting on the couch and I just looked at Franklin and I felt like he was just nodding his head, just saying yes. And then I just said yes, because I knew that Franklin would come all this way with me on this journey.
I think that's fabulous. A turtle. I think I might get one at home to tell me when to say yes or no to some things here. What is the most important thing that you think we as a council can do?
Maybe tell the community... Sorry. Do something, somehow tell the community, maybe put some posters up about to not litter, like have some rubbish bins available where people could go down to the Fitzroy River, have some rubbish bins available, and then people can just put their waste into those bins.
That is a really good idea. So I have one last question. What will you be focusing on next once plastic straws are no more?
Probably to stop the single-use plastics.
Well, we'll be seeing you soon. Thank you so much, Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie, and I might just ask Alicia just to talk on what our sustainability unit functions are that we undertake through council. So it just gives you a bit of a snapshot about what we're doing as a council for the environment and how we can put in place strategies and programs to be able to help our wildlife and look after our environment. So, Alicia, would you just like to give a quick snapshot of
Sure,
that department?
Charlie, and welcome, and thanks for our lovely gifts. So one of my teams that I look after is our environmental sustainability team. So I've got a team in there of 3 people that are just like you, completely dedicated to our environment. They've been working with all of the different areas of council to try and make us more sustainable, and they've come up with some great initiatives. So one of those things is the plastic-free places, which they're working with the businesses, just like you say, to phase out those plastic straws and plastic plates and all of those things, because lots of people don't actually know what to use differently, you know, what can they use instead of. So that's an important step in the process. But they also do lots and lots of good things and look after our Great Barrier Reef and represent us and council on that area. We look at the waterways, the drain bodies, and they do investigations of what's down the drains and how we can capture that litter before it actually gets into our waterways. So there's a huge amount, and so we've even won some great awards through the LGMA Sustainability Awards for some of our things. So, and here's our champion, who's just come in here this morning. And we've got some great community grants as well for community groups who also want to improve and make a difference. So some of the schools that we're working with, St Peter's is on the agenda this morning. So they've had some huge gains in terms of some of their rubbish and changing. So I hope that at your school you've done that initiative as well down there.
Thanks very much, Alicia. And it was only 2 weeks ago that we visited Wandle Primary School, and the students up there were developing an app, what they could do to protect the environment, and there were some fantastic options that they were providing. Fishing for rubbish was one of them, and you could win tokens by going onto this app when you go fishing. You could fish for the rubbish and win some apps and win some tokens, and then if you got so many tokens, then you'd get an opportunity to meet the mayor. That was one of the children's prizes. I'm not sure whether that'll be lighting up for that one, but but they're really looking at ways that they can help our environment. So it's great to see our youth and young students in that space. But again, congratulations and thank you for the gift. But I have another couple of lights on, so I might go around the table. I'll go to Councillor Latcham and then Councillor Rutherford. Thanks, Councillor Latcham.
And good morning, Charlie and parents. Thanks for coming down today. And it's a very important cause what you're on about. So I've brought my paper straws along, the paper ones. So I help out at a little tennis club, and we've actually made a conscious choice of changing over several months ago to paper straws rather than plastic straws. And like many other businesses in the Rockhampton region, we're transitioning to get rid of single-use plastics. So, and part of that, the first strategy was getting rid of your plastic straws and going to paper straws. And it's been embraced by our customers very well. They appreciate why we're doing it. The other thing is we don't want to see it go into landfill, right? So from a waste and recycling point of view, we don't want to see that. To answer some of your questions, so 1st of September, the single-use plastic ban happens. That was instigated by the Palaszczuk government, and we applaud them for bringing in that legislation. And I guess they'll be the ones policing it and enforcing it. In the meantime, we've got really good companies like Boomerang Alliance who are going around to different businesses in our region and along Livingston as well, and up along the coast, and they're helping businesses to do the right thing, to transition to paper stuff instead of single-use plastics. So they're one company that's doing really well, and there's been lots of companies, and I think the council itself internally has done a lot of changes, so they've got rid of a lot of the single-use plastics where possible. So I applaud you for coming down today, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Archam. Councillor Rutherford, and then Councillor Mathers.
Charlie, I just wanted to say thank you very much for coming, and thank you even more so for your passion for animals and for the environment. Part of my portfolio is the Rockhampton Zoo, and I am very passionate about animals as well. And I hope that, I know you're an inspiration to other people, but I would hope that other people will take your lead, young and old, and continue to do this, because as much as I'm a lover of our zoo, I hope for the future that zoos and aquariums are not the only places where we get to see and enjoy animals. So on behalf of the animals, not just turtles, thank you for being so passionate, and thank you for coming to share that with us today.
Thanks, Councillor Rutherford. Councillor Mathers.
Thanks very much, Mr Mayor. Congratulations and welcome, Charlie and parents. Thanks very much for coming along. Charlie, I just want to say once again, thanks very much for your passion. As I mentioned to you earlier, I'm an avid scuba diver, and I've seen firsthand the damage that single-use plastics does in the marine environment, and it's very, very important that we are very careful what we do on the ground, because everything flows down the gutters through the stormwater drains and out into the ocean. So it's fantastic that we've got the younger generation, championing these sort of causes. So I applaud you for that. The other thing I wanted to mention, Councillor Latcham mentioned the Boomerang Alliance. I don't know if you're interested, but I think it's on Monday the 30th of August. They've actually got a forum where they'll be talking about what they're doing with single-use plastics and the bans of them, and what they're doing with the local pubs and clubs and cafes and that type of thing. So it might be something interesting for you to go and do. They'll be doing some Q&As. I'm happy to forward those details on if your parents would like to take you along to that. Thank you and congratulations.
Thanks, Councillor Mathers. Councillor Wickerson.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Congratulations, Charlie. If you haven't thought about what your career is going to be when you're an adult, maybe a politician or a Prime Minister or something like that, would get it suit. Very well spoken, and again, very passionate too. I'd just like to probably answer some of your questions as well, very quickly, as well as our Drain Buddies program. Council, only last year I think it was, Councillor Kirkland, installed a bigger version of that, so a gross pollutant trap, which you know all about, I'm sure, but this was put in on trial, so it's a bigger cage, if you like, that catches all the stormwater that comes out of one particular system of ours, and then we look at what comes into that. But we use that also to demonstrate to the community, because we partner with the community all the time to see what comes down our drains, and if they see what goes into the river firsthand, it might make them think about what they throw into the road, which ultimately goes into the drain. So that's something we've done. But also, again, on that partnership thing, every year we have, as everywhere else does, big NAIDOC celebrations. So in the past, and everyone probably needed to learn these things, but they would have a mass release of helium balloons. So around the table we decided, working with the Darumble people, our local Indigenous group, that this wasn't a good thing. So we put a ban on that, but also working with the Darumble people. So we didn't want to just be the party poopers, if you like. We wanted to celebrate in some way. So we swapped from releasing hundreds and hundreds of helium balloons, most of them accidentally, but there was lots of them up there, to plant a native tree in a particular park we've got. So now, every year, those little kids that started walking, now a little bit taller, go back and they can see the tree that they planted, which is good for koalas and good for birds and all sorts of things. So we've just swapped from one to the other, and I was very pleased that this year when we went to NAIDOC, not one balloon, not even a balloon on a stick, which we sort of had as a bit of an interim thing, but they're still not ideal because they're rubber and there's a big long plastic straw you hang on to. So this year, not one. So that was quite an achievement of the whole community, not just council. So part of our job is to encourage the community to embrace all the things that you've spoken to us about this morning. So again, well done. A couple of more years Prime Minister for you, I think.
Thanks, Councillor Wickerson. Councillor Smith, did you want to
Yeah, I'm really busy keeping an eye on.
You're doing a great job.
So, Charlie, congratulations. You're an absolute inspiration, not only for the younger generation, but for us, for the whole community. And I congratulate you. And turtles are such a beautiful creature, and to protect them like they can't protect themselves, they've got no hands to pull things off their neck or out of their nose or whatever. And I think we just need to stop putting stuff, waste around that ends up in the ocean where the turtles are. So congratulations, and I can't believe you're so young and you can speak so well. Congratulations, absolutely wonderful. So thank you for coming today and bringing this gorgeous...
I'd just like to say, when I grow up, I'd like to be a marine biologist so I can discover more about animals and help all the animals that are in trouble by all this plastic that is going into our beautiful oceans.
Well, you're in a perfect location up here near the Great Barrier Reef and with the mighty Fitzroy River right beside it, so it is a perfect environment to start the studies.
Actually, part of the reason of our relocation.
Yes, yeah.
Because that's what Charlie wants to do, and it's a little far away from where we were previously. So.
No, that's good. Congratulations and welcome. Christine, did you want to say anything from the officer level? It'd be good to wrap up if you like. Christine's one of our officers from our sustainability department as the manager there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And welcome, Charlie. Look, I'm sorry I missed your briefing this morning. I will be watching that on film a little bit later. But look, it's absolute pleasure to have you here today and to have our younger generation really flying the flag and inspiring us all about what we need to do here to protect our region, and really appreciate all your efforts. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, then we might wrap that up, and thank you again, Charlie and Franklin. You've done a sterling job. Okay, Councillor, we might resume our meeting. Councillor Kirkland, would you like to move that we receive the deputation?
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Wickerson, did you want a second? Sorry. I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 9.1, the QME 2022 exhibited site. Councillors, any discussion around that one? Councillor Wickerson.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. No, just to support that, I think with other councillors we've been to a few of these in the past, and staff have done a sterling job of setting up a display, but to actively encourage a precinct with some of our other people in the METS industry is a great initiative to do. I think the last one that I went to was in Mackay, Of course, they're being the host if they get the prime site, but they did that terribly well. They had not only their own council demonstration or presentation, but a lot of the suppliers also in that same region, all working as a coordinated group. So that's a strength in numbers. So I think that's a good initiative. Have we got sites picked out through you, Mr Mayor, to Greg? Have we got a prime location?
Thanks, Greg.
Through the chair.
You don't need the store?
I don't think I need that. Yes, Councillor Wilkinson, at this stage it's really about snapping up the sites early. We will get preference because we were one of the site holders in 2020, the cancelled event. So this is a biannual event, and I know we have participated in the past, and 2018 being the last one of those. So we will get preference on sites, but they haven't released that. It's more, this is an offer to snap it up now to keep it at the 2020 price. So if you don't sign up now, it'll be at a 2022 price. Yeah.
Very good. One of my memories is I think Brazil had an amazing stall there. Were you there for the Brazil one?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, they were walking, I'm not suggesting we did it, but they were walking around with Brazilian wine and Brazilian beef on display. So maybe it's a bit of barramundi beef or something, beer.
I'll take that on board, Councillor.
Councillor Smith?
Oh, look, just a comment, Mr Mayor. I've probably going back 10 years ago, I think we went up. That was my first opportunity to go there. And as Rocky Regional Council got known at the expo, we were quite busy. A lot of people were very interested in what we had to offer, etc. And I think it's imperative that we be seen there. I think that's probably a good investment, the cost of it.
Yeah, no, and I recall my visits to there. I think there was a remote control truck with the GIA written on it that was very popular with the audiences that they go past back in the day. But again, like I echo what Councillor Smith was saying, our reputation has grown over the years from those initial events. So it's great to see that we're still we'll continue in that space, because I think it's important with the resource sector that we support that, and we've been seen to be in that space where probably traditionally we've been looked at as an ag and beef capital. We're mindful that we've got the resources there as well on our doorstep. Councillor Kirkland?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I think I totally agree that we need to have a presence here with this this function, and what it does is it demonstrates that we're continuing to be ambassadors for the small medium enterprises and those businesses within our region that are supporting the mining sector. So it's telling them that we've still got skin in the game, and we're very much interested in representing them to that industry.
Okay, I'm happy to move. Seek a seconder. Councillor Smith, I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carry. Thank you. Greg, did you want to present on 9.2, the Bowen?
Quite happy to, Mayor and councillors. I suppose I'm not sure after that last presentation I've got two mining proposals to put in front of council, but this is the annual Bowen Basin Mining Club lunch that the Bowen Basin Mining Club through Jodie Currier has agreed to have one each year in Rockhampton. We'd love to have more, and we've pushed for that, but we haven't. So that'll be held in September this year, and I mean, they've got a lineup of decent speakers, good speakers. There's a panel with Ian McFarlane from Queensland Resource Council, Mark Scott from Hastings Deering, Vikesh from Tees, and Jason McCallum from Yancoal. So it'll be a good lunch, but we need to continue to market it. But it is like that previous one. It is continuing to highlight that Mackay isn't the only resources city out there. Rockhampton certainly is one as well. So it's very important that we participate in things like the Mining Expo and this Mining Club lunch and other things. And Graham Shepherd and I have been doing a lot of work with the Resources Centre of Excellence in that same sort of ilk. So this one's fairly self-explanatory that we sponsor it, but again, over to you.
Thanks very much, Greg. I don't see any lights on. Could I seek a mover and a seconder with that one? Councillor Kirkland, second, and Councillor Latcham. I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Moving on to item 9.3, the Black Summer Bushfire Recovery Grants. We had a bit of questions and answers there yesterday on the workshop. Was there any... Marty Crow. Martin, I think there was a question about whether we'd been through to check on some of the smaller applications. Liz is on. Councillor Rutherford?
I just thought that someone was going to come back with some information for us this morning
What was the end of it?
about,
Peter's not there.
yeah, about bores and...
I think Peter was there,
Oh,
but I haven't seen him. He's not online.
That's probably to the side of this.
Through the chair,
Yeah,
it's
Martin.
Martin here. I'm not quite sure what the questions were. I think there were some questions that Peter relayed to me in relation to the rural fire brigades. Now, my understanding is the rural fire brigades are incorporated bodies, so are able to make their own applications for this funding program.
Yeah, Martin, I think we discussed that, but I think there was more specific about some of the consultation that was happening after those events and some of the requests that come through. So, Councillor Peter, we might leave this matter lay on the table till later in the agenda, and then get Peter to come back with a bit of that information that we were talking about yesterday, if that's okay. Rather than trying to fill in the gaps, it might be better with Peter there. Yeah, I'll move that we move this item till later in the agenda. Seek a seconder. I think so, yeah, Councillor Wickerson. Just wait for Karen to catch up. I moved. Councillor Wickerson seconded. I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 9.4, Botanic Gardens and Zoo redevelopment implementation endorsement. So, Councillor Rutherford, did you have any comments on this one to start before we start? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and I'm excited for the officers to be able to present this. This has been a dream of mine for a very, very long time, to see this wonderful asset actually come to the fore to start to get some of the TLC it needs, and you know, it's served our community for a very, very long time. I think it stands quite proudly as one of our greatest tourist attractions, if not the best. And I think it's timely that we now acknowledge that the toilets are way past their use-by state, that the kiosk certainly needs attention, that the popularity of the zoo has just grown incredibly, and to be able to invest into that facility is amazing. So it's kind of overwhelmed for it to have got to this stage now, and I would like to particularly thank the council table for their support in this and their input over the workshops that we've had, and especially the council staff for taking this on board, running with it, and presenting us with some really, really great high-class options to consider and be able to deliver for our community. So I do make the point that, of course, it's a staged project and we need to go looking for funding, but the fact that we have a document now and we have will have plans to be able to go looking for that funding is a long way from where we have been in the past. So I will pass back over to you, Mr Mayor. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Councillor. And again, your passion and drive for the gardens and the zoo is unwavering. I think it's something there that you've undertaken, and it's great to see that this redevelopment plan at the appropriate time with the development of what's happened with some of the exhibits over the years has really proven to be our draw card for the region, and it's I think it goes under the radar quite a lot when people are going out and visitors to the town. They spread that word far and wide, and I think that's a testament to the work that's been undertaken by the staff and council over that time. But what this redevelopment will do, will be putting the Rockhampton Zoo and the Botanic Gardens on everyone's radar going forward. So that's a great opportunity, and one that we can see and develop in time. And this redevelopment is really going to allow that to occur. So I might hand over to Jacob to go through, or Councillor Kirkland, do you have a
Yeah, no, that's
comment?
fine. We'll wait for
Wait
Jacob.
for Jacob to go through. Thanks very much, Jacob. If you could present the report.
No problem. Good morning, Mr Mayor and Councillors. So the report before you today includes a revised implementation plan for the redevelopment of the Rockhampton Botanic Gardens and Zoo, and this implementation plan has been revised based upon the completion of the concept design that we've been working on. So if you remember, in January earlier this year, an initial version of that implementation plan was submitted, and it included the commencement of a concept design for the site. We've now finished that over the last several months and have now updated that based upon a lot of those projects that we've defined through a lot of those workshops, and proposed a priority order as part of that. So adoption of this implementation plan really allows us to move into detailed design for what we defined as the initial priority projects. So happy to take any questions on it.
Councillor Kirkland.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I really want to take this opportunity to just congratulate Jacob and the entire team for what they've pulled together and presented to not only the council but to the community, as far as the processes and just the stages and everything has been encapsulates everything throughout the concept design right through, inclusive of projected timeframes from money, etc. It's very well done, and I hope that this model will continue to be implemented against other projects that we deliver in the future. It's well done. Thanks, Jacob and team. Well done.
Thank you, Councillor Kirkland. Councillor Rutherford.
Mr Mayor, I'd also like to take this opportunity, if I could, to maybe acknowledge Michael Elgie and the role he's played. I believe he's finished with council now, but often our discussions with Michael as the curator of the Botanic Gardens was about leaving his legacy, as each curator has done for the Botanic Gardens, and he had a particularly tough job in that he had to repair the gardens from Cyclone Marcia. So there's been years of cleaning up, you know, not just the initial cleaning from the cyclone, but, you know, our trees have been trees that we thought would survive that have shown stress and have continued to deteriorate and die, and just major works that have taken a number of years to do. So he's had the hard job of cleaning that up just when, you know, it was time to start planning for the future. He's sort of moved on now, but his footprint is in this as well. So this is part of his legacy as a curator. So I'd like maybe for us to acknowledge the role he played in this as well.
Thanks, Councillor Rutherford. I think it's been a team effort too. I think there's a lot of people that have been involved that we probably haven't mentioned, but it's great to see that all that work is starting to come to fruition, and with this plan now, and it's great that it's to be staged, and we'll seek that other levels of government support, and hopefully we gain that support going forward to be able to implement what those stages are. So that said, Councillor Rutherford, would you like to move as recommended?
Oh, very much so, Mr Mayor, very much so, thank you.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Smith. I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Thanks very much, Jacob. Moving on to item 9.5, the planning and regulation. Councillor Mathers, did you have anything to do with this one? Are you right to?
No, I'm fine for that to go with the officer. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thanks very much, Amanda.
Good morning, Mayor and councillors. The proposed development that we've got here is for a material change of use for multi-unit dwellings for 19 units. The proposed development consists of 17 three-bedroom units and 2 two-bedroom units. Two of the units will be fronting Pennyquick Street. The site is located in the low-density residential zone, and Generally, the proposal complies with the requirements of the planning scheme and was subject to public notification. We received no submissions on the proposal. Therefore, we're recommending it for approval, subject to the conditions outlined in the recommendation.
Okay, thanks very much, Amanda. Councillors, any questions? No questions. Could I seek a mover and a seconder with regards to that one? Move Councillor Latcham, seconded Councillor Kirkland. I'll put that. Those in... Oh, sorry. I was looking at Peter door, sorry. So we might move on to the next item. Sorry, it was move Councillor Latcham, seconded Councillor Mathers. Yep. And it was carried unanimously. Councillor, we might go back to that, the bushfire. Oh no, sorry, Christine, go ahead. We'll keep going on. We'll get to that at the end of the agenda and then deal with it. Sorry, I'm all over the place.
Good morning, Mayor and
Thanks very
Councillors.
much, Christine.
Thank you. Look, this report basically summarises the latest round of the Community Assistance Program Environment and Sustainability Scheme grants. There are 3 applicants for this grant round, a total of $6,200, including Gracemere State School P&C Association, St Joseph's Catholic Primary School Park Avenue P&F Association and St Peter's Catholic Primary School P&F Association as well.
Chair, I don't know whether I've got a conflict on this one because I'm working with the Gracemere School P&C Association for the 150th celebration. Thank you.
Evan said no. Thanks, Christine. Councillor Kirkland.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Well, I really want to extend to the community, to our schools and the organisations, and congratulate them and thank them for going outside of their comfort zone sometimes and being the first to actually explore and implement some projects that both teach and achieve significant environmental, economic outcomes. And I think that I'd like to encourage other schools and organisations to get involved in these fabulous opportunities to get grants to seed their projects. So well done. I notice there's a couple there that have continued to expand on what they're doing in the environmental space within their school. I congratulate those schools. So I would challenge them to go out and challenge other schools to catch up.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Kirkland. Councillor Wickerson.
Thanks, Mr Mayor, through you. Yes, also to echo Councillor Kirkland's sentiment. We've seen firsthand this morning with Charlie and Franklin as a backup the importance of not only leaving a good, clean planet for the next generation, but also encouraging this current younger generation to do it for themselves. So this quite modest sponsorship of those programs will see a whole school continue to embrace those values that we saw demonstrated at firsthand this morning. So yeah, happy to support Council.
Okay. Move Councillor Kirkland, seconded Councillor Wickerson. I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Christine. Moving on to 9.7. Elise? Yep. Thank you.
So I'll probably present this one.
Okay, thank you.
If we could. Councillors, as the presented, I've just got to find my little agenda item again. It just dropped below the bell. There we are. Yeah, councillors, this is the operational plan for Q4 for the 2021 year. So effectively the final report for the year. As we've seen in through there's been a number of red dots, but those red dots, most of them are work in progress on the way through. Considering the workload of the organisation, there's a pretty good achievement to go through that. Those red dots will be completed as we go through, and there's a few delays through council's decision, but overall, Mayor and councillors, I'm pretty pleased with the progress of the organisation for last year. I'm happy to take some questions.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Evan, is there any...
workshop recently.
Yeah, that's right. Was there any questions, councillors, on any of that operational side? Again, it's good to see that the organisation's looking to those red dots and improving them as we go forward. I think it's important that they always have that target there that we try to meet. But the workshop, a lot of the questions were worked through and explained in detail as we went through there. Councillor Mathers.
Thanks very much, Mr Mayor. Through you to Evan. Evan, thanks very much for the report. I understand, with the system we use with the green dots, red dots and that type of thing. The only thing that's a little bit disconcerting with that is when you see the red dots straight away, you're concerned, but it'd be good if maybe there could be a little bit of...
a purple dot?
Well, even if it's not a different colour dot, if there could be some wording beside it, maybe letting us know that, this is 90% to being finished or 80%. I don't want to make extra work for people, but just instead of jumping off the pages, all these projects and that type of stuff not being finished, it just gives us a bit more closer idea of what's going on.
We'll try and give you some numbers, but I'd prefer it actually if we had the blue dots.
Yeah.
We'll strive for the blue dots.
I'm fine with that then too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, councillors, no further questions on that one. I'll move in seconder. I'm happy to move seconder. Councillor Rutherford. I'll put that. Those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Moving on to 9.8, council's delegation to the CEO. Alyssa, thank you.
Good morning, Mayor and councillors. This morning's report is seeking Council's approval of various powers to be delegated to our CEO under a range of different pieces of legislation. The first two attachments deal with new regulations that we previously have not been contained in Council's registers. So those are the land regulation and the residential tenancies and rooming accommodation COVID emergency response regulation. The next four pieces of legislation, three pieces of legislation there are existing pieces we have in our register and are simply updated as a result of changes to those legislation and also the conversion of our existing registers over to the LGAQ layout. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions, councillors? No lights on? Well, could I seek a mover and a seconder with regards to the report? Move Councillor Latcham, seconded Councillor Wickerson. I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. (9.9) The summary budget report. Ask Marnie to present. Thank you, Marnie.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and good morning, everyone. So this morning we're presenting two budget management reports for Council's consideration. The first one being the period for the 30th of June 2021. So there has been a delay, councillors, in providing this information to you simply because we've been trying to finalise our end-of-year statements and get probably the closest position that we can for the 30th of June period. So that's the reason why it's presented at this meeting and not earlier in the financial year. Just going through what has been presented, you will note, councillors, that when we undertook the monthly budget review for May, which was adopted at Council's statutory budget meeting in June, we have now identified that our operating revenue is at 102% of our budget. So we were very close to where we thought we may land. Excuse me, for the end of the year. So some of the key areas there were fees and charges revenue at 106% and rent and lease ahead of budget at 108%, and our grant revenue was at 109%, which was due mainly to our recovery or receival of the RASI grants and the Domestic Airport Security Costs Support Program that we've been getting from the federal government as support for the downturn in the airport industry. Excuse me. So that is really what's generated a large, or our budget coming in over the expected revenue budget for the end of year. Our operating expenditure was around 100% of our budget for the year, which was a good indication of where we went to with our expected expenditure for finalising the accounts. Our capital income landed at 106% of the budget review, and our capital expenditure actually took quite a large increase during the June period of $15.4 million, taking our total to $115.7 million spend for the year. So that was pretty good going to what we were expecting in terms of where we were landing for the year. Our investments at the end of June were $88.2 million and our total loans were $147.9 million. And you will recall, Council, that we drew down that loan of $33.65 million during June. So that added to that balance, or that was included in that balance of $147.9 million. So we've ended the year with a surplus, which we won't identify as being our final position, but it's a positive sign for us at this point in time that even though we forecast a deficit for our reviewed budget, we ended with a surplus. Any questions in relation to the June figures?
Thanks very much, Marnie. Again, as we start off in the new financial year, it's early days, and great to see that those figures are close to where they were wanting to be towards the end of that financial year. Is that a capital budget record? Evan, did you mention that?
Just before we ask, I think come close to the $115 million would be our highest capital expenditure ever.
Yeah.
And that, so it's below what we actually budgeted for at the start of the year, but there was a few big projects in there. So, but it's a pretty good outcome when you look at it for what we delivered. That's for sure.
So, Marnie, just with the airport revenue, those figures from the recent lockdowns and where they're at, so they'll come through and at a further report just to get a
yes,
better
they
indication
will.
on the next one. Yes.
Through the chair, those figures are to the periods to end of June, and there are still grant funding for the remainder of the year as well. So the DASCS grant will actually expire in September, but the RASI grant continues beyond that. So, yeah, they're positive signs in terms of what the federal government is supporting towards council in terms of the operations of the airport.
And will we use all of that grant money?
It's for operating costs, so it's based on it's based on what our actuals are to be reflected in terms of our operations.
All right, thanks, Marnie. Councillors, any other questions? If not, I'm happy to move. Seek a seconder. Councillor Mathers, I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried. Uh, 9.10. Again, thanks, Marnie.
Okay, thank you, Mr Mayor. So presented also is the report to the 31st of July, so our monthly July figures based on the 21-22 adopted budget from the 24th of June. You'll note that our revenue is quite high because of our levying of rates during that period, and which are due by the 1st of September. And most of the other revenues are below or within budget at this point in time. Similarly, our operating expenditure is sitting below budget, and that's to be expected at this time of year given movement into the new financial year and also finalisation of projects and things like that that may impact our carryover budget as well, and things like that that we're working on currently. Our capital income is sitting at 11% of the adopted budget, and that's in line with this early stage, as well as our capital expenditure being quite low at 2%. So our investments have moved to $77.5 million. As you would understand, there's been a lot of spend that went on through the end of the financial year. We do see that ramp up and accrual processing and things like that towards the end of the financial year, so that's impacting on our cash, and our loans are sitting at $148.3 million. So not a lot to talk about, I guess, at this point in time in July, but we'll see that alter once we're currently reviewing our carryover budget and finalising our end-of-year financial statements for 2021. They're due to our auditors next Monday, so there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes in terms of preparing the accounts and getting things ready to finalise 2021.
Okay, thanks very much, Marnie. Councillors, any questions? Early days. I'm happy to move. Seek a seconder. Councillor Smith, I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Yep, we might lift 9.3 off the table if that's okay. Thank you. 9.1, is it? Yeah, 9.1. 9.3, the Black Summer Bushfire Recovery Grants. Councillors, we might just take any questions to Martin and Liz. Oh, sorry, I'm happy to move that we lift the matter off the table. Seek a seconder, Councillor Mathers. I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Liz, Martin, would you like to present that report, please? He's not there anymore. Liz?
Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, councillors. Thank you for receiving our report. The Blackfire summer grants are available for local governments, incorporated organisations, community groups and businesses. So we've prepared this report after discussing with council's departments, and these are the council projects that have been recommended to the unit. So if there's any questions from yesterday, please let me know.
Okay, thanks, Liz. There were a few there, and I'll go to Councillor Rutherford and then Councillor Smith and Councillor Latcham. Councillor Rutherford?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I have a question, but I'm wondering if you'll allow me to preface with, I guess, where I'm coming from. And when I looked at this, Liz, I looked at fire. If this had have been for cyclones, any of our other disasters, cyclones, floods, the like, where council takes a very much a lead role in that. When it comes to fires, it's very much right down to QFS and our rural fireys. And I was just a little concerned that some of these didn't necessarily put fire as the top priority, and I wondered whether we had spoken to the rural fire brigades about what their needs were, what their concerns were, because I would have thought the first thing that jumped to my mind was the lack of water in those areas, and we did discuss an additional standpipe at Gracemere, but whether more dams or bores would have been a good spend of grant money to address this issue. So I think my first question is, in putting these submissions together, have we taken on board or did we talk to the rural fireys about what was most needed from them in their mind?
Thank you, Councillor Kirkland.
Rutherford, don't blame her for my words.
Oh, apologies there. Sorry, I've only got the little screen that I can see this morning. Oh, sorry, Councillor Rutherford. Yes, there has been, and I suppose one thing that from the disaster management arrangements, we look at all hazards. We take an all hazards approach. So when it comes to building resilience and preparing for the next disaster, we do reflect, of course, back on what's been learnt through the recovery and bushfires for this instance. But from the DM arrangements, we try to look at all, and especially when there's funding available, we look at all hazards and how all aspects can build resilience and preparedness for the future events. So that probably explains some of the projects that have been proposed. For bushfire though, because yes, this funding is to look more so at bushfires and recovery and what's outstanding from previous events, there has been throughout the process to develop the bushfire strategy and mitigation plan, there was extensive consultation with the Rockhampton Fire Management Group and local brigades. We haven't had any specific project raised for this through internal departments, but with the brigades, they can themselves apply for funding that may not support our infrastructure, but I just wanted to note that that is the case.
Sorry, Liz, can I just ask you, did that include, you said you did discuss with fire, what was the group you said?
Yeah. So the fire management group.
Fire management group. Did that include representatives from the rural fire brigades?
It sure does. Yeah. It's administered by QFIS. It's a layer under the local disaster management group in the arrangements. Fire QFIS take the lead on that, and their key stakeholders are the first officers from the rural brigades. Through the LDMG, we did specifically ask QFIS to ensure they pass that on to their first officers to seek ideas for projects.
I guess my concern is we were out at Cabra when the fire started to get away and everyone took off, and the rural fireys were saying they have one point, once it gets past that Cabra point, that there's one spot there where they can stop it. After that, there would be no stopping it basically until it hits Pink Lily Lagoons, and then would jump across to the airport and the gardens. So to me, just for my way of thinking, it would have been, you know, was it important that we build a fire break there? Was it important that we had extra dams or water sources at that point, given that they were so very, very concerned if they didn't stop it, they'd lost it, they'd lost the battle?
No, thank you, Councillor Rutherford. No, they have not raised those specific projects with us.
But that doesn't preclude them from their own, doing their own applications, though, sorry, for those rural units?
That's true.
Yeah.
If break, and they have for the last rounds of flexible funding, they've definitely applied for such projects, building breaks, building more fire lines on property they've worked with us with our civil operations when, and two, we do through Peter, as LDC, we do write letters of support when we're approached.
One more question, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yep.
And that is, are our applications in competition with their applications for the funding?
Liz, did you get that question?
I did, thanks. Well, yes, there's only $1.6 million available to the Rockhampton LGA, so all projects received will be in competition with each other, and it'll be prioritised based on the recovery gaps and resilience gaps relating to bushfire from those last events.
And that's through that management group, though. Everyone's putting their input into that to come up with these proposals. Yeah.
We did send a media release out to the community to encourage groups to get in touch with us if they would like ideas, support, letters of support, but there's only been a couple of groups, and none of those groups have been the rural brigades, and they do know. I work with them at the FMG, so they do know that we are there to support them. So I'm afraid I could not tell you exactly the projects that are going to be submitted, and they don't have to come through us either to get those letters of support.
Okay, thanks, Liz. Councillor Smith and Councillor Latcham.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I think Liz just answered one of my questions, and that was how the rural fire brigades are being advised of this grant. But if we did media as well, not saying that people ever see media sometimes, they might miss it, people are busy, but if it wasn't actually sent to the rural fire brigades, I think they probably didn't know about it. But I think, Liz, it's 5 great projects you've come up with, and just hoping that even one of them gets up. And I did identify it yesterday. I'm just a stickler for correct history. Just in the Gracemere evacuation planning, it says that the fire started in Cabra, and it actually started in the Stanwell locality. But if that's a set record of the event, well, we probably can't change it. But just you know, I thought we just should note it. But I think just talking about fire breaks that Councillor Rutherford brought up, and a really, really good point. There was fire breaks made to stop that fire getting any further than it was at Cabra, but they need to be maintained every year. It needs to be dosed again. I know Boulder Combe and Gracemere do fire breaks, and I think the one we even have at Mount Archer. There was some council funding for the fire breaks years ago, and I just wondered if that still happens,
No,
if
we
someone
still-
could answer that question.
We still fund, Peter mentioned
You do?
yesterday, 30,000 for the maintenance of those, but where that's contracted out, it's not council do that, or mixture?
Okay. It says, you know, a fire break in that locality would be all on private land, but
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. I think, you know, we need more fire breaks, and sometimes the rural fire brigades just maintain them themselves.
Control lines, but then also if there's if there's a fire there, that they can always get that equipment and put a fire break in
Yeah.
at those times too. So it's all about that management and that strategy and the planning, and that's why those groups meet together to coordinate that going forward.
Yeah, Mr Mayor, I'm just concerned at the moment because we've had some rain, enough to get long grass everywhere, but it's very, very dry everywhere. And it is a concern. So thanks again, Liz, for that.
Councillor Latcham.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Just to clarify, the Bushfire Resilience Officer, is that position, are you making an application for funding for it, or will this be an expense of council?
For funding.
It's a funding.
Funding.
Just the report doesn't indicate
Yeah.
100% funding sought.
Yep. That's,
100% funding sought for all those projects listed.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
they're
you.
all funded positions, yeah.
That's fine, just the report. I didn't
Yep, and
clarify.
they're only for the term of that for that group. Councillor Wickerson.
Oh, thanks, Mr Mayor. I just wanted to probably highlight a couple of the projects there that I strongly support, and that is the Resilience Officer. And my understanding of that is that that person is a dedicated person to take all the information that we get from previous events and to build on that, and not only to coordinate that information, but to then work with all the local stakeholders. And most of those are represented around the table when we meet for LDMG. It's the SES and the police and fireys, rural and urban. But just to make sure that all the elements of that response are aware of the previous lessons we've learned, but also to coordinate, which they do very well, but also just to progress that. And probably the most important part is then to work with our community, because council and all our agencies that sit around the table, we don't do it on our own. We do it with the help and the support of the community to make us all more resilient, even to basic things like keeping your own property clean and tidy in the backyard. And all goes towards helping that that response and that resilience to it.
That's right. Reducing those fuel loads around their own properties helps immensely. So something there that we work towards and getting that
And
message.
Mr Mayor, the next project with the a response to climate-related risk too, I think you and I have heard firsthand that with climate change, and whether you deny that we caused it or not, it's a thing. And the end result is that not only the period of that fire risk has now been lengthened, starts early, finishes later, but the intensity of those events, not only bushfire but other storms and cyclones and floods as well, will increase. That's what's predicted. So to have this officer have a really deep understanding of that, and then to communicate that to the stakeholders and community is a great value, I think, and I think we get some great outcomes from it.
No, that's right. It's important, and coming from where we've had experiences over the last few years, the last decade, it's warranted how we plan for the future. So having that officer there to go back over that work and then develop strategies to go forward is what we need. It's a great application. Councillors, Councillor Rutherford.
Mr Mayor, I think we just need to be really careful how we do that. I recall once before a company in Melbourne had sent invites to us to attend flood recovery conference seminar down in Melbourne, and I wrote back to them and said, you want us to go down and learn how to do it, I think you should be inviting us down. And actually, I think I passed it on to you, Mr Mayor, to tell you how it's done. And it's a little bit with fire, you know, in the rural area. I think we need to be very, very careful to go out into a rural area and tell the rural people who fight these fires how it should be done or what they should be doing.
I don't think we're proposing to go and tell them. No, that's not the case at all. No.
Yeah.
Could I
The program is about having officers go out and get that knowledge that they know and build it into the plan. It's the exact reverse. It's about, they're the knowledge base.
Okay,
We
I
pull it
thought
into
that
the
had
plan.
already been done. I thought we'd
No,
been
they've been-
doing that already.
No, there was consultation after the fire. Went out and
Yep.
spoke with a number of the groups after bushfire events, and that's just a part of the process there that happens to gain as much knowledge about what event it is, whether it's a cyclone or a flood's, working with the communities and the agencies that are involved in those events. But this is more specific about bushfire in general.
All right, I thought that had already been done. I thought we'd had a number of community consultations with group that our disaster management group had been out there chatting to groups already because they were at...
we had many,
yeah.
yeah.
Through the chair, could I please add, we have gone out to the groups, the fire management groups, the community, and definitely from a disaster management perspective, we acknowledge strongly that the fireys know how to respond to fire and mitigate fire. One thing that this officer would do would be to really take those findings and look at it systematically and how we can really integrate that knowledge that we have captured and better form our plans and our strategies and really integrate it into what we're doing, because what the study's identified and in the mitigation they've suggested, it is a lot of work that's still needing to be done. That collaboration with the rural fire brigades on the ground between the first officers and the QFIS paid staff, for want of a better way to phrase it. But things like that, we are supporting how that happens, and we would value an officer to enable that.
Okay, thanks. Move Councillor Smith, seek a seconder. Councillor Kirkland, I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Moving on to item 10.1, notice of motion. Notice of motion, Councillor Shane Latcham, Rockhampton Regional Council, Floral Emblem. Can we have a seconder?
Mr Mayor, I'd like to move that we I know that this item's been, and I applaud you, Councillor Latcham, I think it's fabulous. I would like to move that we lay it on the table to make a proper decision after a proper workshop. Some of us councillors were not privy to the 2011 information that was shared around this emblem, so I'd like to lay it on the table if we could, just for a short workshop for the...
Yeah, do you seek a seconder with that? Just to move it, we'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried. Refer back to a workshop.
Yes. Yeah.
And then come up there seeking further information on the 2011. Okay, councillors, that motion's been carried. We'll move on to any questions on notice. Urgent business questions. We have 3 items to be dealt with in closed session. Councillors, I'll move that the items to be moved into closed session. Seek a mover and a seconder. Move Councillor Wickerson, seconded Councillor Smith. I'll put that. Those in favour? Carried. Go through item 14.1, the proposed sale of council... 14.2, the request for trustee consent involving state reserve land adjoining Moores Creek. Mover and a seconder. I'm happy to move. Seconded Councillor Smith. Put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried. 14.3, the Australian Defence Force possibilities. Happy to move. Seek a seconder. Councillor Wickerson. Put that. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. And I seek a mover and a second that we move into closed session. Move Councillor Wickerson, second Councillor Kirkland. I'll put that. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. We'll close the doors and we'll move into closed session. Thank you.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Favour? Motion's carried. Is that turtles there or what? Okay, Councillor, we might move on to the officer's recommendation for item 14.1. The recommendation that the council authorises the CEO to coordinate property and insurance to undertake further investigation to inform the proposed sale of council land identified as in the report as item A1, 1A, 1B and 1C. Could I seek a mover and a seconder with regards to that? Move Councillor Kirkland, seconded Councillor Smith. I'll put that. Those in favour? Motion's carried. Thank you, councillors. Item 14.2, officer's recommendation that the proceed as outlined in the report. Can I seek a mover and a seconder with regards to that? Move Councillor Kirkland, seconded Councillor Mathers. Put that. Those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. The last item, the Australian Defence Force. That the council proceed as outlined in the report. I'm happy to move. Seek a seconder, Councillor Wickerson. We'll put that. Those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Councillors, there be no further business. I'll declare the meeting closed. Thank everyone for their attendance and thank officers for their work. Thank you.
Councillors, just quickly, councillors, very quickly for tomorrow has been a bit of a change of plans. Tomorrow at 8:15 start will be a continuation of yesterday's business, and that'll be all tomorrow. There's the Sassy Islander thing tomorrow as well.
Then our workshop tomorrow morning.
And then the workshop that was scheduled tomorrow, we've transferred to the 6th of Monday week. It's on the afternoon of Monday week, all that content.
Nope, it's gone off me.
So just so you'll see,
it's gone.
Calendars will be going crazy. So that's the nut there.
Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join